Greenpeace has accused fishing lobby group the National Federation of Fishermen's Organizations (NFFO) of being in cahoots with the EU, given that European companies make up nearly a third of its membership when assessed by the fishing capacity. However, the NFFO has hit back, pointing to its strong criticism of bloc's common fisheries policy, while accusing the environmental pressure group of trying to demonize large fishing vessels, which Greenpeace dubs supertrawlers, as pantomime villains. Greenpeace investigators analyzed the NFFO's membership according to how much fish each member vessel is capable of catching, a measurement known as vessel capacity units. They found that 30.9% of the NFFO's membership, by fishing capacity, is non-UK owned, while 61.4% is UK owned. A total of 7.7% of members have unclear chains of ownership, although Dutch companies are said to be the most dominant, with 19.8% of NFFO membership being Dutch-owned when assessed by fishing capacity. The company controlling the largest proportion of the NFFO's membership by VCU is Cornelis Vrolijk Holdings, a Dutch multinational fishing company which owns 4 supertrawlers which fish regularly in UK waters. One of them, the Frank Boonvaars, reportedly controls 23% of England's fishing quota but lands its entire catch in Holland. UK Fisheries, an Icelandic-Dutch-controlled venture, connected to Andrew Marr International, which is unconnected to the BBC journalist of the same name, controls the 4th largest proportion of NFFO members, Greenpeace suggests. Fiona Nichols, an oceans campaigner at Greenpeace UK, said, "Our analysis has revealed the conflict of interests at the heart of the UK's biggest fishing lobbying group. The NFFO has a direct line to our government, and claims to represent fishers here in the UK, but in reality it is just as interested in representing the interests of big European fishing companies which dominate its membership. These companies send destructive supertrawlers into UK waters to hoover up fish, taking catches away from UK fishers, a far cry from supporting our coastal communities to level up. This conflict of interests cannot be ignored. We must recognize the NFFO for what it is, a lobbying group which gives big European fishing companies a direct line to our government. This explains why the NFFO is so vehemently opposed to marine protection measures which would benefit UK fishers and coastal communities, like a supertrawler ban." Jerry Percy, director of the new Under-10s Fishermen's Association, added, "I genuinely never realized that the NFFO were an Anglo-Dutch organization, so when they claim such a big membership they should perhaps include their clearly significant Dutch and Icelandic influences." Greenpeace is calling for supertrawlers and bottom trawlers to be banned from fishing in all of the UK's marine protected areas. The NFFO rejected Greenpeace's claims in a lengthy statement sent to express.co.uk in response, reproduced in full below. An NFFO spokesman said, "If the policies of the National Federation of Fishermen's Organizations are dominated by Dutch and other European interests, as Greenpeace alleges, it is a little difficult to explain the NFFO's vigorous efforts to free the UK fishing industry from the grip of the EU Common Fisheries Policy. Supertrawlers don't exist. The term is just an attempt by Greenpeace to demonize large fishing vessels as pantomime villains. We need a diverse fleet of large, small and middle-sized vessels depending on the fisheries concerned, distance from shore, safety etc." Earlier this year, Prime Minister Boris Johnson indicated that he was keen to reduce the number of large EU vessels in UK waters. He told the BBC's Andrew Marr, "One of the things we've done is get rid of pulse trawling. We've done it from day one. We will be able to ban these huge hoover trawlers that hoover up everything from the bottom of the sea." NFFO statement in full. If the policies of the National Federation of Fishermen's Organizations are dominated by Dutch and other European interests, as Greenpeace alleges, it is a little difficult to explain the NFFO's vigorous efforts to free the UK fishing industry from the grip of the EU Common Fisheries Policy. Supertrawlers don't exist. The term is just an attempt by Greenpeace to demonize large fishing vessels as pantomime villains. We need a diverse fleet of large, small and middle-sized vessels depending on the fisheries concerned, distance from shore, safety etc. The largest vessels in the fleet generally target large offshore shoaling stocks like mackerel, horse mackerel, herring and blue whiting, where there is limited or no overlap with inshore fishing. Moreover, these are mid-water species targeted by midwater gears. There is no bottom contact, ever. It is difficult therefore to see any merit in the argument that this category of vessel is particularly environmentally damaging to MPAs that exist to protect seabed habitats. Most of our fish stocks range well beyond the boundaries of MPAs, so controls on how much fish can be caught are far more relevant to the sustainability of fish stocks. Every form of food production has an environmental footprint, and it is our responsibility to ensure that it is as small as possible. Greenpeace's campaign to ban trawling in all MPAs would in all likelihood impact small-scale fishing vessels the most, as coastal waters are heavily designated with MPAs 51% of coastal waters in England. It would see an end to the fishing industry in the Wash, for example, that is dependent on fishing for shrimp using lightweight trawls, but is fully designated as an MPA. The NFFO represents the breadth of fishing interests in England and Wales. Our policies are agreed, on democratic principles, by an executive committee which reflects all parts of the industry from the smallest through to the largest vessels. Who pays what, in subscriptions, is never a consideration. Besides, subscription income only covers around a third of our income, the balance being contributed by our services company. For many years we have also placed a cap on the subscriptions paid by the largest vessels, partly so that imbalances of the type that Greenpeace allege do not occur. So, Greenpeace has, not for the first time, got it wrong on all counts. It is a pity that Greenpeace is not as transparent about its motivations, funding and campaign targets as the NFFO.